Welcome back to another video of these deck creation videos. I have something new to show, and this is something a little bit different than a lot of what I've seen. Yes, of course, this would be probably should have been the last card I show because it's part of the surprise. Hey, what do you know? I'm going to tap all your creatures and attack. That's one way of showing off and that sort of thing, but by the time the fifth turn comes around, if I can play it and tap all their creatures and attack with my creatures, I'll be a happy camper. But of course, we got Swords to Plowshare in here to get rid of some creatures that are a pain in the butt. I don't want to get rid of big creatures if I can help it. But we have Swords to Plowshare. We have our Bond of Discipline. No problem. Easy enough. They're self-explanatory for the swords. They gain life if I kill one of their creatures. This has been one of my new ones that I've come across, and I think I'm going to be adding Soul Warden into this deck. After I look at the deck and I'm going, yeah, I'm missing Soul Warden. Soul Warden has been one of those better ones I've seen lately that has been very helpful with life gain and that sort of thing through it. But in this deck, the deck is based around tokens. Token creatures. For most of it. There are a couple of creatures in here, but most of it is token creatures. So we have our Ange's Welcome. So whenever a creature enters a battlefield on my side, I gain 1 life. So no problem. It's good for life gain and that sort of thing, but it helps when you have like Lingering Souls. Put 2 1/1 soul spirit creatures in it, and you can cast it again from your graveyard. So therefore, in 5 land, you got to cast it twice. The only problem is, and I've just noticed this, for the flashback, it costs black mana. Which, this will probably be the first cards X'd out of this deck, is these Lingering Souls because of the flashback cost of black mana, and I don't think there's black in this deck at all. But we have Gather the Townfolk. So, in here, put 2 1/1 white human creature tokens into the battlefield. If you have 5 or less life, put 5 of them in play instead. Okay. So, yeah, the combo of tokens, and then we go forth and have something like this in play. You're no longer at 5, you'll be at 10. It's a good way to, and it's a cheap 5 1/1 creatures, was the way I look at it. So we have this one, Increasing Devotion. It's an expensive card, but it gives you put 5 1/1 human creature tokens into the battlefield. If Increasing Devotion is casting from your graveyard, put 10 of those in play. So yeah, it's inexpensive, but can be doable if it's a long drawn out game. Kind of sort of like this. But if you look at it, if you're casting it from your graveyard and you have this out, you're gaining 10 life just by casting it from your graveyard. So yeah, it's a bunch of token creatures. But the reason why I'm going to be probably taking this one out and throwing Soul Warden in its place. So that's why the Increasing Devotions are in here. It's expensive, but in a later game when you're just about dead, it might help. So this one here, Mentor the Meek. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 less. If you do so, draw a card. So that's a way to draw cards. The way I look at it, it's a draw. It helps me draw. So the White Sun Zenith. Yes, it costs 3 plus X. Create X number of 2/2 white creatures tokens. and then shuffle the Zenith card into its library. I have a feeling I'm not being able to use this. Oh crap, it's a commander card. I'll have to read up on that one. Put that off to the side. It may not be able to be allowed in this deck. But this one here, and the reasons why the tokens are in here. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 flying token creature. Why not? It's an enchantment. If by chance I gain 4 life, and with the welcomes and soul wardens in the deck, getting 4 life a turn is probably going to happen. As well as the healer hawks that are in here. I've started to enjoy using this card here because there's going to be a lot of tokens possibly in this deck. And you've got flying creatures in here or just other creatures that will help. This card gives your creatures +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. So if by chance you have a bunch of creatures out, and this card comes in handy when you want to say, I want to attack with a healer hawk. It flies over. I've got 10 creatures out. It's now an 11/11 flying creature with lifelink. So yeah, and if you have both of these out, it's now a 2020 or 2021, no, 21/21 flying healer hawk flying creature with lifelink. Tongue-tied. So that is good if you have 10 creatures out. Even if you have 2 or 3 creatures out, it still works. But Healer Hawks is a good card to bring out at the beginning. Flying, 1 casting cost. There we go. We have a cheap little flying creature. I have these ones in here because whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain 1 life. That's a no-brainer. Gain 1 life every time you have a creature come out. And in this deck at this point, it could have a lot of creatures, or it could have very little. We have Sworn Companions. Creates 2 1/1 soldier creatures with lifelink. No problem. That seems to be straightforward. And here's the better cards for the deck. Your creature tokens you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. So your 1/1 healer hawk, and if you have all 4 of these out, are now a 5/5 flying lifelink creature with vigilance. So yeah, it's good to have those in there. And possibility with all the life gaining in the deck in that sense, Primate is always good. So whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on the Primate, and there you have it. It's a cheap, strong creature, possibly. Could be a weak creature. These increase the Lingering Souls. This card here will be going by the wayside, so you don't have to worry about that one. These White Sun Zeniths probably have to go as well. This one here, I might have to get rid of it and replace it with something else. Another way of creating tokens would be good. I'm wondering, that's the one thing I'm wondering on. If anybody's still watching this video, is there a white enchantment that produces creatures like tokens every turn? Like I know the what you call it? What is it? Is it this one here? Yeah, this one produces at the beginning of your upkeep. If you gain 4 or more life, do this. There is another card that I want to add to this deck once I find more of them. Is the one where if you're producing tokens, they become 4/4 flying creatures. That has to be in here instead of like this is good, yes, but I want the other one in here. I can't remember the name of it at the top of my head. But that's this video for now. This is the deck it's a pure white, mono white deck. It's all geared around I'd say 60% tokens, a few enchantments, and a couple of creatures, and that was what makes the deck. So it seems to be pretty stable, but if you get stuck with saying the stronger spells, I might get screwed. But it is what it is, that in that sense. But this White Sun Zenith, I think, has to go. The Lingering Souls will go, for sure. But there isn't another enchantment out there that I want to put in here. It is white. It is geared towards creating 4/4 flying creatures. I gotta find it. I just don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I will look and see if I own some and swap some of these cards out. Anyways, I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching and have a good day.